Alright guys, so PulseChain is back on everybody's radar in the last couple of weeks, and honestly it's one of those blockchains that I really like to talk about. So I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about what has been going on. Alright, so the buzz has been building on Twitter and people are buying back in. As you guys can see, there's some green on the charts and there's a lot of green in a lot of these coins as well, right? So I still believe that PulseChain is a sleeping giant, and I want to talk to you guys about what exactly I'm going to be doing going forward, because I feel like over the last few months there has been a lot more emphasis on Solana base chain, but not a lot of people are talking about PulseChain. So let's break it down, and remember that this is not financial advice. I'm just going to be talking to you guys about what I'm going to be doing. This is for educational purposes only. So let's get right into the video. First up, so PulseChain, for those of you who do not know and are not familiar, PulseChain has been a project that many in the crypto community have had on their radar and have had their eyes on, right? So while it may not have been flying like Solana and base chain, it has been flying under the radar. So it's kind of like very alone and solo. There's still a lot of projects on PulseChain, right? Look at this ecosystem that we have in front of us right now. All the wallets, most likely those 4 wallets, really interact with PulseChain. My favorite is the Rabby wallet, obviously, but I believe it's still a sleeping giant with a lot of potential to make early investors a lot of money, because let's face it, we are still early when it comes to buying in on PulseChain. It has low fees, it has fast transactions, it has overall vision to improve on Ethereum's shortcomings. So this has a lot of potential to become one of the greatest blockchains that crypto enthusiasts can get into, right? So now, while there are a lot of PulseChain projects, I mean, we have tokens, we have off-ramp and on-ramping, gaming, markets, information, Defi projects like farming and whatnot. There's meme tokens here. It's important to always diversify your tokens. I mean, if you want to put some in Solana, you want to put some in Ethereum, some in Binance Smart Chain, that's all good, right? So it's always good to not put all your eggs in one basket. But today's video is really all about PulseChain, so that's why we're talking about the majority of the coins that I'm going to be buying into in this blockchain. Okay, so now let's talk about why PulseChain is pumping. So as you guys can see, there has been a tweet that a lot of people have had show up on their feeds the last little while. Richard Hart is basically back in the scene right now, and he's tweeting a lot about, comparing Ethereum with PulseChain and why PulseChain is so cool. But essentially, like if we go to his profile, you see that he posted a tweet over here that says, it says Hex just doubled in price in 10 days. Pulse X and INC are 1.7x. and Pulse token is 1.4x, right? So we can look at the charts, we can see that they're pumping really well, all of them. And funny enough, these are the main tokens that I'm going to be talking about today's video, because those are mainly the ones that I'm going to be DCAing into. So as always, he likes to really hype up the PulseChain tokens, hype up the PulseChain ecosystem. But there's one thing that he did say the last couple days that really got people pumped up, which is PulseX version 1.1.0 is released. It's much faster. Please upgrade. Some queries are 300x faster, provide more data, and search is 12x to 30x faster. So I believe that this is one of the main reasons why a lot of people are super excited. And he's showing the Gold Pulse bubbles, right? So the Gold Pulse bubbles is something that I've been showing you guys for a long time, the Gold Pulse website that has the bubbles. So we're gonna go over and see the bubbles right now. You guys can see that there's a lot of green in the charts, a lot of reds, because a lot of these charts, for example, they pump and then they dump very quickly because people take profits. But a lot of these tokens are still in the green, which is a better sight than seeing a lot of tokens in the red, right? And if we look at all the crypto market right now, it's still doing a lot better. So with a lot of these tokens doing good, Ethereum doing good, it's directly a layer on Ethereum, so PulseChain is going to be doing good as well. So all in all, it's positive for the community, right? So if you go to pulsex.com, you can see that there's version 1.1.0, and you can go ahead and if you run that if you run it decentralized on your computer, then you can download that on your Mac or Windows, but you can use the website as well. You see PulseX version 1.1.0, and when these kind of things and updates come out, people really like to buy in those tokens because they think, and they are probably right, there is some kind of pump that happens. And that's really why we saw that Hex pumped, we saw that INC pumped, we saw PulseX pump, and we saw Wrap Pulse pump as well. I mean, all these tokens are really cool and are worth DCAing into. So let's talk quickly about each coin and tell you why each of those coins are very important to DCA into. So let's talk about Wrap Pulse first. Okay, so Wrap Pulse essentially is the native coin of PulseChain. It's used to pay transaction fees. It's very much similar to Ethereum when you're talking about the Ethereum mainnet or BNB when you're talking about Binance Smart Chain. And essentially, the more people are going to be using PulseChain, the more people are going to be using the PulseX token, the PulseChain token, and by buying the PulseChain token, the value is going to increase over time. So really, it's a no-brainer that if you are going to be investing in the PulseChain ecosystem, then Wrap Pulse is going to be one of the tokens that you want to be investing in, or Pulse as a whole, especially when people are going to be building more on a PulseChain token, on the PulseChain ecosystem, right? So right now we saw that there are a lot of projects built over here, but there could be hundreds and hundreds more. And when those hundreds of projects are going to be built here, a lot more ecosystems are going to be buying Pulse tokens, and then the price might just skyrocket at that point. Next, we could talk about the PulseX token. The PulseX token essentially is like, it's the token that powers the decentralized exchange PulseX, right? So you guys might know this, you might not know this, but it's similar to like Uniswap on other blockchains like Ethereum, for example, or PancakeSwap on BNB, right? On Binance Smart Chain. It allows users basically to trade tokens and provide liquidity, and especially when the new version 1.1 is out, people are excited to use it. So that's why there has been a pump, and that's why I believe there's going to continue to be a pump. I still believe the Pulse token has more potential than PulseX token, but overall, those are two tokens that I'm going to be accumulating for sure. Going on to the bull run. Next, let's talk about Hex, and there has been the most talk about Hex in the last couple of days, and the reason for that is because Hex is one of the most important tokens on the ecosystem, and it acts like a certificate of deposit in the ecosystem, and essentially users, when they buy Hex, they can stake it for a period of time, and they receive rewards from that stake, essentially like any other staking platform that we've talked about in the past, but it's part of the broader ecosystem that Richard Hara has built. And when he preaches Hex and PulseChain and INC, it's one of those tokens that you can't help but start DCing into, because it's going to generate a lot of hype come the bull run for sure. A lot of people are going to want to be staking to receive some rewards, and plus whenever you pair this with any other token and you can stake it on PulseX in the forums, you can be earning some fees, just dividends for a long period of time, even if you don't want to stake Hex by itself, And now let's talk about INC. As you guys know by now, INC is the reward token that is given out when you're staking or farming actually on the PulseX, the decentralized exchange, right? So when you see PulseX Pulse APR of almost 12%, you're going to be paid out in INC. When you see Ethereum DAI 70%, you're going to be paid out in INC, and so on. All these farms, you're going to be paid out in INC. And the beautiful thing about it also, if we go to Pulse, the Pulse website, we can see over here that when you're analyzing these three coins side by side, you can see that Pulse has 16 trillion supply, PulseX has 20 trillion supply, Hex has 95 billion supply, but INC has 43 million supply. So that means there's way less supplied, way less in circulation. So the potential for this to pop out is very strong. We've seen this go up to like $9, I think, in the last few months. So this is a very good time to buy, especially at $2.50, because this could pop out at any moment, especially when Richard Hart is on Twitter talking about this token. A lot more people are going to be farming come the bull run. Imagine all the people that are going to be making millions in the bull run. What are they going to do with their millions? They're going to be staking that to get some passive rewards, and INC is going to be the token that they are getting for a long time. Now, again, while I'm super excited about PulseChain, there is so many different cryptos to invest into. So I would highly suggest everybody do the research. Look at all the cryptos that you have. I mean, you have, I would suggest if you're a beginner to stick to the top 100, top 50 even, and do your research, stay cautious. Obviously, none of the information I gave today was financial advice. This is just for pure educational purposes. I hope you guys are doing good on this Monday morning. I'll see you guys in the next video.